Okay, what is going on, guys? This is episode 9 of the Clubhouse. Just me, Frankie Astreb, this week and for the weeks to come. Jake is taking a little bit of a break here with the start of college baseball season. Kind of committed to that. What are you gonna do? I'm riding solo. So we have a little bit of a lot. I should say. I'll talk Le'Veon's value, AB's value, continuing from last week. I have an NHL trade deadline review and looking into the playoffs, and a lot of NBA stuff with my top 25 NBA players right now. A little bit of Lakers Celtics stuff. A little bit of we'll talk about the Harper contract, the Arenado contract. Yeah, some good stuff this week. You can catch us on SoundCloud. You can catch us on YouTube. Hi, everyone on YouTube. I'm finally going to get this up in at least highlight form. Because there's something with unverified accounts and YouTube with 15-minute videos. Anyways, jumping into it with Le'Veon Bell. He is officially done with the Steelers. Not going to tag him. Not surprised. And no one should be. This is coming from all the way from August to now. He was in the rap studio and at clubs in Miami the whole season. Hasn't played for the Steelers all year. He held out, obviously. Let's look at the odds here. Vegas has it at plus 400 for the Raiders, plus 400 for the Colts, plus 500 for the Jets, plus 500 for the Niners, plus 600 for the Packers, plus 600 for the Texans. Miami Dolphins at plus 700, Philadelphia Eagles at plus 700, Seattle Seahawks at plus 800, New England Patriots, Super Bowl champions at plus 800. So what sticks out to me about this list is the Jets are not the leading candidates here for Le'Veon Bell, according to these odds. I think they're the odd favorite in many NFL circles among fandom to land him. Whether that's a good decision or a bad decision, I think it's not the best decision for them. You can get Tevin Coleman on a much cheaper deal for not coming, as far as we know, with personality problems, injury history, all that stuff, locker room tension, possibly him and Darnold, more with AB if he was to go to the Jets. Anyways, I think Le'Veon's one of the best still when he's on the field. You have Barkley up there, you have Gurley up there, and you have Zeke up there. I think Zeke's the best running back in the league. But as far as the other stuff goes, I would stay away from him because of that. At least the money amount he's asking for at $25 million per year. Quarterback money. Borderline, they're like top of the line wide receiver money. So I think the Jets should stay away from him. For those reasons, they take precedent over his skill, because the running back market isn't bare and dry. You have Tevin Coleman at maybe 12 to 14 million a year. He might cash in a little bit more than that, because it's just him and Le'Veon as the top two biggest names there. He's proven he can do it without Freeman. He's with Freeman on the field, he is definitely more of a pass catching back. But with Freeman's injuries this year, Coleman was able to show that he can, produce in the running game as well. He's a running back after all. I think the funnest team there is the Indianapolis Colts. You have Luck. You pair a wide receiver in the draft with T.Y. You have the improved offensive line with, Q, Anthony Costanzo, Matt Walensky. We talked about them all the time in January, like Mike over there, singing their praises. Got a good offensive mind in Frank Reich. Plug Le'Veon on there, it's got to go well. I mean, it could go bad. You never know with people like this. Any sports player, egos are through the roof. Talk about all in the NBA especially. But I think the funnest place would be the Colts. The obvious place is the Jets, although I think they should heed any big backing up the Brinks trucks for him. It's probably not a good idea. He is a running back after all, and durability is a concern, as well as his personal issues. I'm not going to say personal issues because I don't really know what his personal issues, but his public personal issues, if that makes any sense. And the running backs in general, like I said, I wouldn't give that much money to a running back. They're not that valuable in terms of team success anyway. I mean, you look at Barkley, he had one of the best seasons for a running back, and the Giants were still 6-10. Quarterback play is the most important offensive line play. On the defensive side of the ball, although situational defense is more important than overall defense in today's NFL. But I did put a poll up on the Clubhouse Sports Pod Twitter, and I asked what is more valuable in today's NFL, running backs or wide receivers, and 80-20 voted wide receivers. 80% voted wide receivers. And I agree. I do agree with that. I think you have the concerns with AB and Odell and their personality issues. I think one's resolved and one hasn't resolved. And I'll talk about it more with AB. They're definitely more important to team success. Not in the grand scheme of things like to other positions, but to specifically comparing running back and wide receiver. Wide receivers are definitely deserve to be paid more than running backs. For a myriad of reasons, durability, production, situation, value to the team in game by game. Well, game by game could be argued because you have, Anyways, I would pay Odell more than I would Le'Veon Bell. To boil down the point to that. Moving on from Le'Veon to his former now Steelers teammate, Antonio Brown. We talked about him last week. We announced the trade, or we didn't break anything. We're a regurgitation podcast, and we take the news, we give it to you guys, which you already know, and then we offer our meek opinions on it, or I offer my meek opinion on it. So yeah, Antonio Brown. It was reported by first by an anonymous source that the 49ers are not interested in trading for him. And then that Steve Weiss reported, who is a Bay Area for the NFL Network, a Bay Area guy, or West Coast guy, I should say. But John Lynch hasn't had any conversations with the Steelers about trading for him. And I did mention last week what I would give what I would give the Steelers is like a second round pick at most. I'm going to stand by that because he is made a fool of himself these past months. You know, you have the mustache, the hair, the dreads. That's a sign of something because it's not a big thing, but it's something because you bleach your mustache, you could be going crazy. But he was actually auditioning for that Hulk Hogan biopic, I guess, but Chris Hemsworth got picked for it, so maybe that explains the mustache. I don't know. Anyways, you have not injuries with him, and I think he's definitely still one of the most productive receivers in the league. He's not at his 2015, 2016 level, but he's still up there production-wise. Skill-wise, I think Odell and Hopkins, and I'm not going to say Julio's better than him because that's, but Odell and Hopkins have surpassed him skill-wise. I was early, but recently, I should say, I've been kind of low on AB. The Steelers have been like very, very heavy in go route percentage, and he's very down the field receiver as opposed to a showing off more. His hands are great, but let me circle back to the production. Production's still there, not at his 2015, 2016 level, I think, but I'm standing by the second round pick argument there because he is. I don't think it's a hot take. He's 31, or he's going to be 31. 49ers are no longer interested, or they never were. That is interesting to me because they were the leading candidates to trade for or land Antonio Brown. And who did that leave? It leaves the Packers, the Bills, I guess it's the Chiefs and the Colts, but you don't want to give a playoff contender a star receiver like that and have them make a Super Bowl run at that point. So you try to trade him out of conference, and especially out of division. Browns and Ravens aren't getting him. Bengals don't need to worry about them. They're not going to trade for him. Speaking of the Bengals, John Ross, he's on the trade block over at the Combine. Anyways, back to AB. That leaves, I think, just in the NFC, you have the Packers. The Bears, no. Lions, no. Not the Lions. It's the Packers and the Bills. Bills would be, and the Jets. The Bills would be in exile over in Buffalo. You have Josh Allen at quarterback, and it's cold up there, and it's small market. Not much talent on that team offensively. They'll work on it, though. And the Jets would cause a lot of problems in the locker room, especially for Sam. But it's New York City. I think that's a bright spotlight, much like KD, if he came over here, would be having trouble dealing with that. Moving on, yeah, that's about it. Was Packers, Bills, and Jets. I did say that last week I would love the Packers fit, at least from a talent perspective. I think that's great. Personality is obviously, and antics are obviously a problem with him. No matter where he goes, that you're not going to fit great with any team. Any team with that in mind. Like, it's not going to be perfect, but you have to weigh your options if you're the Steelers and if you're the receiving team. Moving on to I'll touch on Cody Parkey. He got released by the Bears. Not a surprise. Jason Witten is coming back from the commentating booth to the Dallas Cowboys. That is a big surprise. That broke today. I'm glad to see him out of the commentary booth. Sorry, Jason Witten. You were terrible. But you're a good tight end, so we'll see if you can continue that. Well, I'm interested to see if it's like an Antonio Gates situation where you have like an old, aging, veteran tight end, and then you have a younger tight end if they decide to bring in like a Tyler Eifert, who they were interested in signing in free agency. I know he has an injury history, but like an Antonio Gates, Hunter Henry dynamic there. I think you complement two receiving options, and then you have Jason Witten's more receiving. He's a safety blanket, and then you have an actual like a wide receiver tight end type, if I make any sense. So we're interested to see where that goes. And the last, Nick Foles the Eagles are officially not franchise tagging Nick Foles. They're gonna let him test free agency. I'm sticking with it. Jaguars cut Marcel Darius and who's the other defensive tackle? I can't think of him. But cut Marcel Darius. Calais Campbell's aging. Could have drafted a defensive tackle in the draft a quarterback, do whatever you want. But that would free up cap space for Nick Foles. Have him come for the Jaguars. It's a momentary solve in the Blake Bortles problem. But the last small thing, or big thing, but I'm going to make it small, or make it short. Robert Kraft was detained by police in Jupiter, Florida, due to his involvement in a sex trafficking ring. It sounds like he didn't know much about the actual the slave trade and the sex slave trade. He was just buying the prostitutes, and he was a client of the massage parlor. So it is illegal, and he should go to jail. He's not gonna, because he's a prominent figure in the U.S. Financially, and he has high status in the football world, and he's friends with Trump. Imagine he pardoned him. That would be funny. It wouldn't be funny. It would be a black eye in American history if we're looking back on it in 20 years. I gotta wrap this up as far as NFL goes. But yeah, I don't want to get into the illegal stuff or the legal stuff. But as far as the Patriots go, he's probably gonna have to sell the team or move control to his son. Would that open the door for Tom Brady to be ousted? Because we know Belichick preferred Garoppolo. Kraft is a big proponent for Brady, keeping Brady. And on the surface it works. They're winning Super Bowls still. But Brady is definitely slowly declining. And he's going to be 42 coming up this year. So we'll see where that goes. Next, I'm going to talk about the MLB.